Following closely on the footsteps of the US government, Australian Prime Minister has announced that they will also join the diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Winter Olympics next year. Scott Morrison said that this is in response to the human rights abuse in China's Xinjiang province. However, just like the US, athletes will still participate in the event. Remember, after the US announcement yesterday, Chinese government spokesperson had accused the US of violating political neutrality in sports and alleged that the boycott was based on lies and rumors. Now, we are going to focus on this as our big story at this hour. What is important to understand here is that US has made an official announcement of boycott of the Beijing Winter Olympics amidst criticism of human rights abuses. Some lawmakers have called for a boycott because of the human rights abuses, territorial disputes and Chinese aggression in regional areas. Let me welcome, joining us now on the program, a former diplomat of the Indian foreign policy is with us on the program. Very good afternoon, Achal Malhotra. I want to begin by asking you that some lawmakers across the world have actually argued for a boycott because of the human rights abuses, like I said. But given the diplomatic sensitivities, some nations have chosen to refrain from making a comment. New Zealand, Japan, for instance, have not come out and officially said anything. Do you think this is in violation of the spirit of Olympic, or something that must be actually done to recognize the kind of human rights violations that multiple nations are raising right now in China?
Well, good afternoon. And I think the United States decision to diplomatically boycott the Winter Olympics in Beijing is guided by their declared policy of, confronting China on various counts, including the so-called violations of the human rights. This is something
Yes.
they have made it very clear from time to time, and they have been talking to China in these terms. And the good thing about it is that they are not preventing their athletes from participation in the games,
Yes.
and this is a way they want to express, as their official statement says, that China can't just go on violating the human rights, particularly in the Xinjiang province involving the Uyghur Muslims, etc., and also in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and other areas. And America not reacting to it, that would mean business as usual. And that's a message they don't want to give. But the larger issue is, if you ask my opinion, I think, I'm personally not in favor of unilateral actions even if they are punitive, particularly when they are punitive, unilateral sanctions, because this questions then the sanctity of the international organizations that we have put in place. In the given case, there is a UN Human Rights Council. So, and also, I really do not know whether such unilateral actions can really lead to any improvement in situation, because China is going to be defending its position as it has always said. It said there are no violations. I mean, it's not going to admit that it's not
Yes, but
going
at
to
this point,
improve.
Mr. Malhotra, at this point, China is saying this is a politicization of a sporting event, which they believe is in violation of the Olympic spirit. So they are not even going into the human rights issue at the moment. They are simply saying this is a sporting event and it should be allowed to remain so.
Well, in a way, yes. The point is, even if they are not talking about the human rights abuses, etc., but everybody knows why it is being, and so has the United States of America's official statement also has mentioned, given the reasons for that. So whether China refers to it or doesn't refer to it, it's a different matter. But what they are saying is, well, this is an issue we have also, faced at home. Whether there
Yes.
should be cricketing ties between India and Pakistan. Is it a politicization of the sports, or is it what is actually dictated by the needs of the hour? So, see, let's look at it this way. that America has a policy, right or wrong. That's a debatable issue. Their policy is that they would comment, they would intervene wherever they think there is a violation of human rights in whichever part of the world. And this is, they have been talking to China on this issue from time to time. So while talking to China and asking them to improve the human rights situation in that country, if they continue to send, if they send their diplomatic mission to the Olympics inauguration, then they are in a way contradicting their own policy. So whether this policy is right or wrong, it is a debatable issue. But I think in the given context, given state of relations between the two countries, given the fact that Biden administration has come back to the Human Rights Council saying that this is a forum platform through which they hope to contribute towards the improvement of human rights situation all over the world.
Yes.
So I think the decision is justifiable.
But, you know, China is not taking it lightly. I mean, the messaging has not gone down well, because China says, responding to Australia's decision, mountains can't stop the river. That is one statement coming from China. Before that, they also said that Beijing has in fact warned the US that the country will have to pay the price for Olympics diplomatic boycott. Now that we know Australia has joined the United States, again, further statements of that nature has come in, even as, interestingly, China also says that we are not interested in sending out the invitations. The invitations actually are going on behalf of the Olympic Council. They would not extend invitations to foreign leaders. They are leaving that task to the national Olympic committees around the world, making it again abundantly clear that this is an Olympic event. So for all the politics that is being brought in is unnecessary. But at the same time, like I said, there are very terse responses to the countries and the statements.
So that's very understandable. China is not going to take it lying down. They have been, on every issue, for even including the formation of 4 countries, partnership called Quad, which everybody knows is, what is the real objective of forming a Quad? It is to check the aggression of China, particularly in the South China Sea and also in the Indo-Pacific region.
Yes.
They have been open and candid about it. They said this is 4 countries and the rest of the world ganging up against them. And they are not going to take it lying down. And it has so far not been able to prevent them from what they have been doing in this region so far. So as I mentioned in the past, whether such unilateral decisions or unilateral sanctions work or not is a different issue.
Okay.
But from America's point of view, particularly the Democrats who project themselves as the champions of the human rights, defense of human rights, they could not have had any other option. The good thing is that they are not preventing their athletes to participate.
That is true, which is why China also to say that this is in violation of Olympic spirit may not actually be accurate, because athletes are not being stopped. Only the foreign representations, some countries have refrained from sending their representatives. Thank you so much. Yes, please, last point, please.
Last point, by the way, China says we have not even invited you.
That's the thing I was pointing out, that they're saying the invitations have not gone out from us. That task has been given to the National Olympic Committees of the respective...
And the International Olympics Committee has already said that they respect the United States decision.
Yes, interestingly, Russian President Vladimir Putin, who happens to be an avid sportsperson, has also not commented as of now. There is no confirmation, final confirmation of attendance of Russia's presence as well, despite the fact...
I think they have already indicated, I think Russia has already indicated that they will be sending a delegation, if I'm not mistaken. About 3 or 4 days ago, Lavrov, I think somebody had said they will be sending a delegation. And
we are still waiting for the official and final confirmation on that. The opening ceremony is to be held on the 4th of February in Beijing's National Stadium, also popularly known as the Bird's Nest. Right, so there is time and we'll wait for those confirmations and then report about it. Thank you so much, Mr. Achal Malhotra, for joining us today.